Yeah, and welcome back once again in someone's house that isn't our own with Robbie Calvo.
Hey guys.
Okay,
hey,
so today you're funking it up, dude. You're like, I mean, like I'm ready to just like, it's hard to sit still, right? So I'm ready.
That's the idea.
So one of the things I noticed when we were jamming, or you were jamming before, is you play a little bit differently over a very syncopated groove. So we got a cool funk thing going on in the back. What key are we in?
Okay, we're in the key of G, but it's an A Dorian, so it's A minor. We're resolving to A minor in the key of G.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Sophisticated.
Saucy.
Okay, so let's break down the rhythm thing, but also you were doing really cool, very varied phrasing ideas. So you had intervals going. You got, the different types of syncopation going with the track. You're doing triplets. You're doing all sorts of different time values. So let's break that down, because I think that's one of the main things that people don't think about when it comes to phrasing. The thing I notice the most when people Skype with me or whatever is that they play dun, 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 dun. They don't ever vary their timing.
Right, exactly.
And noticing what you're doing, you're all over the place, but it still sounds like a cohesive thing.
Right, I'm thinking in terms of packaging phrases, all right? So to me, it's like, I think a lot in terms of 2-bar phrases.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is it keeps me on track to, if I've got an 8-bar solo, I'm going to do 4 2-bar phrases. If I want to do 16 bars,
right.
It keeps me on track to that. And I find that I phrase differently if I'm thinking in terms of, this is my opening line, this is a development on that, another development. So one of the ways I look at it is I call it 3+1.
Okay.
So I'll start with a melodic idea, develop it 3 times, and then my last phrase is typically a crescendo line.
Okay. Right.
So it takes you on a journey.
Call and response sort of thing, or same kind of phrasing with just a different ending each time?
You can do it call and response. So sometimes I'll leave the line open so I sustain the note. The next line might be a choked line.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm leaving space as well. So I'm thinking, I'm not trying to take up the whole spectrum. There are 2 other guitar parts. There's a bass line, there's drums. So I think in terms of orchestrating even when I'm improvising.
Okay.
So that might be double stops. It could be, phrasing out of the major scale or arpeggios. But I also move things across the beat. So I choose where I place my phrases. I don't just play phrases.
Right.
I choose where I do that.
Yeah.
So what I'll do, maybe I'll do...
you also don't always start on the downbeat of 1.
No. And that's... What I'll do is I'll do a couple of examples of that where what I find is a lot of guys will play on the downbeat because, okay, here's the beginning of the bar of music. Yeah. I start playing here.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. And I think you'll find that the hippest phrases are on the upbeat.
Yeah.
I'll start there. And then when you move them further into the bar, what you're going to do is the end of your phrase, it could be the same phrase, but it's ending somewhere else. And it could be on a different chord.
It's not as much pressure either.
Well, yeah. Well, that's right. I mean, I call it mileage. I say to people, there's mileage in your licks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the track up that we were listening to.
Okay.
And I'm just going to play a D9 or D7 arpeggio. And I'm going to place the similar phrase in different places.
Okay.
And what I'll do is I'll play it on the beat.
Yeah.
and then I'm going to change it, and I'll tell you what I'm doing with as I'm doing it, right? So we'll move it across the bar.
Do tell.
Right? I'll share, don't worry.
All right.
Okay, so it's A minor. I'll just denote the chords as we go through as well. A minor 7 to a D9. It's basically that, right?
Oh, it's a 2-chord band.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a 2/5. So
The super slick funk freaking bubble part in the background. Wait, you gotta. What's that?
okay.
Real quick. Sorry.
Let me show you
Got
that.
distracted.
So I'm outlining the A minor chord
Yeah.
and the D9.
Yeah.
So there's my
Okay. Oh,
third,
that right. Okay.
Okay. So that's another important aspect of this. You know, targeting tones, not just playing a line that fits across everything. Sometimes you want to colour
Yeah.
the changes.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm doing that. So here's playing on the beat. Here's playing on the end of 1. Here's on the end of 2. 1, 2. Okay, so I'll start again on the downbeats.
Okay.
Right? Here's on the end. All right.
You're smooth. Man.
Smooth and in the groove.
That's right.
So I find that I find a lot of my phrases start on the end of 1 or end of 2. My favorite place is to start on the end of 2. But if you move it further into the bar, you can do that as well. So let's hear it on the end of 3.
Okay.
Same kind of phrase, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's just different.
It
there.
feels really good.
Yeah. Because you're letting the chords breathe.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
here,
you know.
let me stop for 1 second. And it also doesn't. It makes you as a player seem more seasoned because you're not. It's not like you don't know what to do and you're just trying to play something, right? It gives a sense that you're relaxed and you're part of that groove. You know, somebody started pointing that out to me on the ands, especially. Ands is super sugar crisp because it gives it like a bounce, right? Because everyone's always playing on that beat. But coming in behind it just creates like a patience. And somebody pointed out that Neil Sean does that a lot. And I was like, really? And then you go back and you listen and you're like, he does. Like comes in on 2 or like let some space go by so it's already presented to you what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it adds more interest for you as a player. Like you say, it has a slinkier feel. And there are pockets, there are guys that play on the beat. Mm-hmm. I kind of play behind the beat. But got a lazy kind of feel.
Which is great.
That's
what everybody used to do, though, back in the day. It feels so good.
Lay back in the pocket. And there are guys that push the beat, right? And they're in front. And I think there are ways of there are certain types of music you can go, okay, where do I need to be on this? And you feel it.
Yeah.
Right? I know when I've played too lazy.
Yeah.
And I know that I've got to tighten it up.
Right.
So listening back is good, especially if you're recording stuff. So phrasing to me is wait, place the notes, be purposeful. I know what I'm going to play almost in advance. It's almost like I've got a page of music and I'm reading it and I'm 2 bars in. Mm-hmm. So I already know what's coming down the pike for me. And it might be that, well, we talked about we were going to develop a phrase. So
let's do that. Can you do this? So say this is someone's first time with this concept.
Okay.
Can you simplify the phrasing so they get more of the actual feel of, because you're doing some really awesome phrasing ideas, but I think for somebody coming into like this idea for the first time, if we can make it more pronounced, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Less notes so they can really hear, and then go back into how you would normally do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a lot of options, guys, on what we choose to play over this 2/5, right? We can play A minor pentatonic. So why don't we do that? Okay. So we'll play an A minor pentatonic in position as standard shape. And what I'll do is Well, we'll play on the offbeats, all right? So we'll
Okay.
just play some simple, it could be just bending a note.
So would offbeats be upbeats?
Upbeats.
Okay.
So think of it this way, guys, and I would totally advocate to you as a guitar player, start understanding rhythm. I know so many guys that don't know how long a bar of music is,
Yeah.
or 2 bars. So
Easy.
it's not you, you know. So foot on the floor is a downbeat.
Okay.
Foot off the floor when you're tapping your foot is an upbeat.
Got it.
And what I do is I coordinate downstrokes with downbeats.
Okay.
Upstrokes with upbeats.
Got
So
it.
let me show you that if I'm playing a scale. So I would have start 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
So when I'm saying start a phrase, it's when your foot's off the floor
Yeah.
and it's on the and or the second eighth note of a beat.
Yeah.
So 1 and 2 and 3
Right.
and that's your start point.
Okay.
So phrases, like we said, feel a lot funkier like that. So let's just play over this track a little bit and, like you say, keep it super simple. So that's on the end of 1, 3, 4. So I'm going to play all upbeats. Even feels funky just doing that, right? So now let's start a phrase.
Okay, so this was the 3+1 idea.
Plus playing every phrase
Yeah.
started on the end
Yeah.
of 1. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
But I developed those first 3 2-bar
Yeah.
phrases. The last one was a run and a crescendo.
So show them what the phrase was and then how you manipulated it.
All right, so guys, super simple. It's a pull-off kind of idea.
What's this called? Is this a motif? Is that what this? I don't even.
Yeah, they're motifs. So
What is a motif?
So a motif is a short melodic repeated phrase.
Okay.
And if you want to think about that in musical terms, that we used to as hooks.
Okay.
And you're going to hear it on
Hook teeth.
choruses. Yeah, and yeah, hook teeth, yeah. And you know, as a guitar player, especially in the studio, if your vocals and your lyrics have hooks, why shouldn't the musical phrases? You know, repeated motifs are awesome. You know, I mean, we've all heard this, right? Right.
Yeah.
Journey. Yeah, it's all super simple, but
Yeah.
it just gets in your head.
Oh, totally.
So I like to start with that simple kind of resolving, obviously, to my D chord, right? And then you develop that.
Well, show them why. In case they don't know.
Okay, so it's a chord tone. So that note is D, it's the root note.
Okay.
All right. Now, if I want to, I could resolve to A, it's the 5th of the chord. I could also resolve to C, which is the flat 7.
Which was the last note you punched. Dude it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool. I love when people do that.
So what I'm doing is I'm developing a phrase that's the same with a little twist, right?
Okay.
So it's a motif-based development. Then the same phrase again, maybe. To the 5th.
Okay.
Then I could go. Right? You can hear it in the chord, can't you? And then my +1, my extended line.
They did that smooth, dude.
Lots of practice, and there's butter. I put a stick of butter.
Some Crisco. Exactly. Coconut oil these days, right?
Yeah, well, you've got to be, you know, especially in Hawaii.
Spirulina, if it's in Hawaii.
So the idea is here, I'm really thinking about it. It's not like I'm just going to play a bunch of random things. I know I'm going to place it in the beat.
Yep.
I know I'm going to develop an idea, and I know my last line is going to kind of cue the band almost.
Right.
I'm finished.
Yeah.
Even the audience can go, okay, this is the crescendo, it's an end. And if I did stop there, I'd be all good, right? And you saw me resolve on the B of, you know, my chords here.
Well, and I'll notice when I go to see jam bands, you know, people will start off with something like that, and say they're even going into like a 32 bar solo, they come back to that
Yep.
phrase, so everybody knows it's like, okay, I'm out, but it gives them something familiar to come back to like, oh, okay, and everybody, even the audience, can feel like, oh, we're coming back to home.
Absolutely. When I play the song Ain't No Sunshine, the beginning of my solo is this.
Yeah.
And then I...
Yeah.
And that's a solo in of itself, right? Why do I have to do anything more than that? And I think when it's played nicely, you can phrase it however you want.
Right.
You could put that behind the beat.
Yeah.
So I always look at things like, am I here to make music or am I here to show off?
Yeah.
And my approach is, I'm here to make music. If there's a chance to put a little line in that might be... Yeah, I mean, if you...
Yeah.
It's always wonderful, right?
Yeah. Right.
There's nothing wrong with putting those things in. But I err on the side of caution. Placement of notes, motifs, develop phrases. Because what it does is, I think the general public isn't a guitar player. And they go, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, here's the guitar solo
Yeah.
and I'm going to have my face melted.
Yeah, right.
It's more about, oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So develop phrases, 3+1, that's 3 2-bar phrases.
Right.
And 1 crescendo line.
It almost follows like the poetry, kind of like A, B, C, or kind of idea, you know?
It's musical form, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's a really intelligent way of, it's one approach.
Yeah.
I don't say you have to do it on everything.
No,
because
but it's a great place to start.
It's a great place to start, and especially if you're playing, again, not to guitar players, and most of my gigs are to people having dinner.
Yeah.
And the last thing they want to hear me do is something crazy.
Just while they're trying to drink their wine. It's like, shut up!
And then, of course, you have some people come like, oh, tear it up.
Yeah.
And that's okay every now and again. So anyway, that's one really nice approach. Now, could we take the same phrase and put it on the end of 2?
Oh, do show.
Let's do.
All right.
All right, so let's see what that feels like. 1, 2. So again, very purposeful. I'm thinking about where are my chord tones. I'm referencing my shapes too. So I'm going, okay, there's all my resolution points on the A minor. There's all my resolution points on that. And hitting the 9 on the D9.
Oh, it sounds great.
It's wonderful, right? Or it's the 5 on the A minor.
Yep.
So it's a great approach. You can keep shifting this across the bar. You could wait. Let's see, how's this? Okay, so let's say we start our phrase on the second bar, second beat.
Okay.
Don't even start on the first chord.
Yeah.
So let's check that out. Because your resolution point's going to be in a different place.
Right.
So let's see what that feels like. Right. Okay, so wait here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So we've got a different way of approaching this, right? We're now resolving. We're resolving towards the A minor chord as opposed to resolving to the D9.
Yeah.
So it's shifted, and I actually really like that.
Yeah.
I would be quite happy letting that first bar go.
Yeah.
But
you know what it reminds me of is horn players.
Yep.
Because a lot of times they chill back, and then all of a sudden it's like, I mean, and they kind, you know what I mean? But it's like that. There's that space, and it's like it's almost like anticipation.
Yeah.
Like you expect it to happen on one, but when it doesn't, you're like, oh, where's this gonna go? And then.
And the other way of approaching that. So there's 2 ways. You can either wait in the bar, so where you place it, whether it's on the downbeat or the upbeat, plus it could be the second bar. The other thing is, a lot of times when someone might call and say, hey, take a solo,
Yeah.
we're like going to panic mode. What am I going to do? Or you hit your boost pedal and whatever it is. And instead of really thinking musically and going, all right, they've called the solo, it doesn't mean I've got to start
right on
it. Or why don't you just let 2 bars go?
Yeah.
Let 4 bars go.
Yeah.
You know, you could even just hang out, couldn't you, and say, all right, so cue your solo, right? Super simple, right? So play a little bit outside, go back in. So you've got, leave space, don't rush, take your time, and I think, really think about where your placement is.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, it's like you've got scale choices.
Right. Well, I was just going to ask you too. We've talked about coming in on the time, but your phrasing, like the time of your phrasing, you know, obviously it's not just 8th notes, right? So like real quickly, what are a couple of different time ideas you can do to create phrasing? So there's quarter notes, 8th notes,
triplets, 16ths, you know, and onwards. But what I like to do, I think you can also develop a solo that way. You could say, all right, I'm going to start with 8th notes or quarter notes even, and I'm going to develop through. So what we could do, let me just see if we can do that without the track, and then I'll try and put it in the track. So let's say, for example, you are going to play A minor pentatonic based ideas, right? So you could start like this. So here's a triplet. Then
okay, so what is that?
So that's 16th. So if you're going, that would be a triplet thing, right?
So triplets 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3,
yeah. So you know, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. So if you have 1 and 2 and then 16ths would be 1E and a 2E and a.
Right.
So you can develop the pace of your solo by changing those things too. And I think sometimes on something that's straight 8ths and you put triplets in it, it's got that really nice kind of way of really kind of pulling you back on the beat.
You know what I'll do sometimes is I'll listen to the track and then come up with a beat, like.
Yep.
And then just start, you know, breaking up that simple, because then you're not worried. And I don't even pay attention to what the notes are going to be at that point, but it's more about like getting that timing down, because that's such a default thing to do. We all get in that one, you know, whether it's 8th notes or 16th. I like 16th notes a lot. So it's like getting into that feel, but it's so easy to just stay there all the time. And it's, you know, you don't have to do a ton to really drastically change the phrasing, and it makes it so much more interesting.
It really does. And I think, you know, when you consider that music's half rhythm, half, you know, harmony and melody, that's super important.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do forget that. So it was a big thing for me to, number one, teach that and have a command of your fingers. Don't let your fingers be the talking point. You know, muscle memory takes over, and therefore you're playing on autopilot.
Yeah.
I say to guys, you command this. So if I choose to put my note here, I told my finger to go there. It wasn't a muscle memory thing. That doesn't mean I don't play muscle memory ideas. I do. And I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary, but I do choose what I play.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important. I choose the rhythmic aspect. And like you just said, why don't you just take a rhythmic aspect of a solo and forget about the melody?
Yeah.
Because it could be any notes. It's almost like that little bubble part.
Yeah.
What is that bubble part? All right, and then it's got its own rhythmic flavour,
Yeah.
doesn't it? And it's a very simple melodic thing. So we're not doing anything technical melodically, but rhythmically it's got its pocket.
Yeah.
And I think if you think in terms of that and start going, you know what, yeah, my playing is a little boring, move my placements. And I say to guys, okay, you've got your stock licks you've worked really hard for, now manipulate your stock licks. You know, some of my stock things would be things like, you know. And again, it's... So yeah, again, you can take all of the elements I'm talking about. You could take one of your stock licks, develop it, place it differently, crescendo with it. And
give me an idea. Give me an example. So stock lick being, what's a stock lick?
One of my things that I really like to do, because it opens up the melodic phrase a little bit, is to play. So I'm playing a bit of more of an intervallic kind of...
My mind just totally went to a song. What did that something? That song, when as soon as you did that, I can't think about it. Anyways, go ahead, sorry.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm doing is, well, let me play with this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change where I place it and the rhythmic aspect of it. So I may change it to a triplet idea.
Give us our stock lick, though, so we know.
Okay, so stock lick is kind of...
Okay.
And again, what am I doing? Chord tone, right? It's still a chord tone on this chord. So it's great. So it's giving me melodic variation, even though I've not changed the note.
Okay.
Because the chord changed. Right. Bass. So each one of those I can manipulate, and it may be a stock lick, but there's so much more I can do with it if I think. So if I think to myself, okay, I'm playing the same licks over and over again, I'm always doing that, place it somewhere else, rhythmically change it.
Yeah.
Did you hear me do the triplet thing? It's like, oh my God. And I think people, even if you just changed the rhythmic aspect, they would feel it was a different lick.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And I think it's one of the most powerful things that you can do as a guitar player, or any musician for that matter.
Yeah.
Horn players are doing it all the time.
Horn players.
They kill me.
They're so good, man.
They're so good.
Every time I hear a saxophone player, I'm like, why can't I play like that?
Well, you can.
No, right, you can. But the way they play with timing is so amazing. And like, because they can do this stuff so smoothly. It's like a flurry of notes, and then they come back, and it's all that. They're the perfect example of time manipulation and phrasing, because their whole thing is like that.
Absolutely, they are. And guess what? I did an article, actually, I think, for my Yamaha blog. And I said, we need to breathe with our hands.
Yeah.
A horn player has to breathe, right? So their phrases have to be different because they've got to get air.
Yeah.
So I did this little thing, so we'll do it on camera. So I said, okay, I'm going to show you this thing where you can make your phrasing better by breathing with your hand. Okay. Now, did you hear how much space I left between each phrase?
Yeah.
Like a bar or more. And it's like, I'm not embarrassed about that. Right. I don't have to fill the air, all of that. But I'll accentuate, I'm going to do this, and that's my breath.
Okay.
All right, so I can't literally play.
Yeah.
Well, unless I'm...
Yeah, unless you're legato master.
Exactly. So check this out, and I'll just accentuate it, obviously, for camera. Right? So if you have a tendency to always keep playing, and I know a lot of guys just keep playing, and you go, breathe, take some time. If you really have to force yourself, do that or that, right? You know, then you can't. So these are great techniques, I think, to develop ideas. Going to be painful at first.
Oh, it is. Especially when it's painful when you do it live for the first time. But man, it makes a big freaking difference.
I think it takes you from being, and I don't mean this badly, but like intermediate semi-pro to more of a pro level approach. Like you said, some of the best players in the world, you just listen to the phrasing, you just go, that is unreal. Because number one, they've got their own melodic and phrasing style, but they also understand that the music has to breathe.
Yeah.
If you're covering it up, you're covering it up.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why a note can't sustain and hang out with the chords or leave space in between those notes. And it's not a crime.
No. You know what I find that works the best too in a live situation? It's just close your eyes.
Yeah.
Because then you're not so worried about looking and seeing how other people are reacting, and it takes that element out of it where the visual aspect, and you start to hear more. You know what I mean?
You do.
Or just look down just for a second until you find your space. Because I think that people they get so caught up in what other people are gonna think.
Yeah.
That it cuts off everything, and it's just like, okay, just find your center, take a second, like you're saying, and develop a part. Like you
develop a part.
Never fails. You'll go to a gig and there'll be a monster player there, and the girls will be there and some bystanders that don't know anything about guitar, and there'll be a guy like ripping all night, but sure as the freaking sun comes to every morning, when he starts doing Chuck Berry licks is when everybody goes crazy. You know what I mean? Because it's just like that. It's about an energy thing, and it connects with people more. You know what I mean? Because it becomes raw emotion at that point, and you've kind of like, you're just like really getting into it rather than, it's like you're babbling like me, like on my 35th cup of coffee when I'm doing interviews. I'm just, it's so much more interesting, and it like you're saying, it really says you're a much more seasoned player when all the guys that I interview and all the ones that I find I like the best are the ones that know how to create the most space.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's that makes what you're playing that much more impactful when you finally come out with something.
I think so as well. And it doesn't all have to be single notes. Like you saw me play a little double stop thing there too, right? So let's say, for example, you're stuck for a part. We know that we've got these two chords here and they've got similar notes, haven't they? We've basically got a very small change in the chord structure. So one of the things I like to do, knowing I'm in the key of G, can I play double stops around those two chords? Mm-hmm. So I play double stop motifs, right? So let's just do it on the fly, right? Let's just see what happens.
Good show.
Talk about stock motifs, right?
That's right.
The do shows. Yeah. All right, so super simple.
Show
right? The show teeps, yeah. Right, so there's my.
Everybody freaks out right there.
What is it they call it? Ernie.
The Ernie?
Don't Ernie. Ernie.
Oh, nice.
It was in a movie, I think. Yeah, no Ernies.
No. Everybody loves Ernie, though.
They do. Drove a milk cart in England.
Did he?
Yeah. Fastest milk cart in the West, apparently.
Exactly.
West Country. But you saw how simple those motifs are. So you start with an idea, you develop it, and you're also looking, obviously, for the resolution points. So for me, it's understanding, okay, can you see your double stops in position? So,
As far as, like, what pieces of the chords or just in general?
Well, if you consider this, I mean, a double stop is a chord fragment.
Yeah.
It's a two note. Yeah.
In a lot of cases.
It's 2/3 of a triad.
There you go.
Right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So when you look at that, I mean, 2 chord tones of A minor, it's 2 chord tones of D9, right?
Okay.
Then if you've got, and you slide into them, you've got melodic variation, purposeful intent, targeting. And it's still bent up to this chord tone, right? There's my D9 or D7, right? There's my D with an F sharp bass.
Right.
So you start looking at these things, and I just kind of play double stops around the chord. And then I could do things like kind of superimpositions, if you like. So let's play G.
Okay, so what is that? What are you doing? Why does that work?
Okay, so these 2 chords that we're playing, A minor and D9, are from the key of G. So obviously the notes of these chords have been built from that scale, G major.
Right.
All I'm doing is taking a G triad, adding in the D note here, and just playing a double stop arpeggio, if you like. I'm actually going through the triad, right? So you can see that. And there's my resolution on the D9. So I think in terms of superimpositions too, it's not just about outlining the chords or being, you know, playing the modal aspect of it.
Yeah, because why just impose yourself when you can freaking superimpose yourself?
That's like
going for the gusto.
You just ring the doorbell and you just keep ringing. Yeah. So the idea is that you don't, you know, step outside the mark of it a little bit. For example, I could do, I'm just going to think G major scale double stops, not really thinking too much about what I'm targeting. Right?
Okay.
So let's just check that out.
Okay, so the boil down. We're gonna run out of time, and I don't want this to get cut off. So we got don't always have to start on one.
Yeah.
Vary up your phrasing. So quarter notes, eighth notes, triplets, 16th notes.
So the pace of it.
The pace of it.
Yeah.
Breathe. Okay. What else? Keep it going.
So leave space. Obviously, you've got different variations of how you approach your notes. You know. So you've got double stops. You've got
the 3+1.
3+1, yeah. So phrasing ideas and motifs. Develop a motif, place it where you want it, so you decide, right? You're the boss of this, not anyone else. And if you want to take it that little bit step further to end this video, I mean, what about, you know, intervallic stuff?
Oh,
so here's
no, save it. We're gonna do
because
I heard you do some stuff. I'm like, no, this is its own frontier,
its own thing. Yeah, okay.
Part 2 coming soon to a camera station near you. Thank you. Make sure to check all of Robbie's links down below. Again, like I'm going to say every single time, one of my favorite teachers. I've been watching him for years. Really, really awesome. If you want to get better at phrasing and really, really conceptualize what good phrasing is, you're one of the best of the biz.
No, thank you. Thanks, Brett.
No worries. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell, click the links below. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.